Good morning from a deceptively fine looking day in Kingsbridge Estuary. It's been a bit of a rough week. Last weekend I couldn't get out. The free time I had, there was a line of thunderstorms coming up through the southwest. Since midweek there's been fairly brisk southwesterlies and a deep system out in the Atlantic, so it's going to be, I think, a little bit horrible out to sea. We'll stick our nose out and see. If we can get out to sea, it's a bonus. If we can bring something home, it's a bonus. If not, we've got the Kingsbridge Estuary to explore. There we are. Let's go and have a look. Hopefully you can see that on the camera. We're just at the bottom end of the estuary, coming in Salcombe, and that heave coming in is the remnants of the southwesterly that's been blowing all week, which doesn't bode well for going out to sea. But like I said, we're on the water, we'll get something from it. Let's have a look and see. So I've nudged out just outside the bar. Salcombe has a sandbar, and like any estuary that funnels and has a sandbar, if the conditions are wrong, it can be particularly nasty going over the bar. So if it's not dangerous and your boat's capable of it, it's worth nudging out, as it can sometimes flatten out beyond the bar. Today is not one of those days. So I've come out. Further out to sea, you can see the horizon's just full of some really quite hideous waves. So as I've come out here, I'll drop the mackerel feathers for 10 minutes, give it a quick try. I've got some rag, but I wouldn't mind something else for bait, but I'm not very hopeful, to be honest with you. So 10 minutes out here, and then we'll pop back into the estuary and come up with another plan. That's enough of that. Fishing's supposed to be fun. Well, that was horrible out there. So I've come into a little bay called Staro Bay. It's just outside of the estuary before we go back in. It's a two-tide day, so I've got plenty of time, so have a little explore around here. Let me just unclip this. So in this bay here, we've got the eelstone on the northern end. Comes round into the bay. And then we've got Bolthead and the Mewstone on its southern end. The other side of the Mewstone can be good for bass. It's not going to be a player today. The conditions are just not good enough. Just around the Eelstone can also be good for bass. So what I'm going to do, while it's relatively calm here, I'm going to rig up. I'll put a lure on for casting and we'll try around there. I'll put some sabikis on in case there are any passing sand eels, stuff like that. And I think plan B, we'll see what different species we can wheedle out today. When the conditions are less than ideal like they are today, it's about being a bit adaptive, a little bit creative sometimes. So while I was rigging up, the drift in this bay is actually quite good. So I've changed my mind again. I've got one rod out with some mackerel feathers on it, one rod out with some little sabikis on it, and then on this rod I've just put a general blustery, really, I suppose. So the boom, the running ledger, 3-ounce lead, a couple of feet of trace, and then some feathers and a small Aberdeen with a couple of rag on it. we're only in 5 metres of water at the moment, and I can actually see the bottom and a patch of weed, so I'll just hold on popping this one down. It's just a sandy bay this, so obviously there could be place. On the outer edges I've had small ray before. And the sounder was showing me odd little patch of stuff, which is why I've got the mackerel feathers and the sabikis out. There could be small lawns. Having a little drift, and we seem to have picked something up. Species number 3. Look at the colours on that. Amazing. Lovely top gurnard. Wonderful eating fish when they're about 4 times bigger than this. Stunning though, aren't they? I might try and take a picture of that before I release it. There he goes. Species number 4. Nice little place. This weather really will not settle today. I've come just outside the harbour mouth, right on the 8 knot speed limit. There's no tide here, but the wind's picked up again. We're doing 1.4 knots just with the wind that comes across. So I think I am going to have to relent and pop into the river and see what we can find. Everybody calls it the river, not the estuary. There is no fresh water apart from a few minor creeks, so there is no river, no fresh water feed. So technically it's a ria, but people are not very familiar with that term, and everybody calls it the river or the estuary. So I'll have to. I'll finish this drift. And then I'll decide about moving in. So I've finally given in and come into the river, just inside the bar at the moment, right at the mouth of the estuary. I'll have one drift here. It's still fairly breezy here, but certainly nothing like it was out to sea. I'll have one drift here just with a bit of rag, see how it goes, and I'll work my way inland and find some other spots as we go along, unless this catches fish, of course. The estuary, probably the reason I don't do it very often, is like anything that's got a flow of water like the estuary has, you can get tangled up in quite a bit of weed. I had a bit on then, I think, but it's come off. It can be quite productive. I know several people who just fish the river for giltheads, rays, that sort of thing. I prefer to be out to sea. I'll go on the water anywhere, but if I had the choice, I'd be further out to sea. But just the weather's not good enough today. Of river fishing. Lovely. We'll go somewhere else. Right, I've just come a bit higher up the estuary. It's much quieter here, so I'm using two rods. I've got one on the back there with some rag on it, which is just cast out into a channel, and then the other one has just got a storm leadhead lure on it, which I'm just going to cast around across the channel and see if there's any school bass around. Like many rivers, this is a bass nursery, so even if a decent sized fish comes in, they all go back here. Well, the wind's got up again. We've been struggling against the wind all day, not been able to get where we wanted to. Even here, I'll just pop the camera up. Don't know if you can tell from that how windy it is, but it's windy enough. So there's just about enough water for me to creep up the river. So that's what I'm going to do. Was it worth getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning on Sunday for? Well, the wind aside, it's a stunning day. The estuary is always lovely. 4 different species, fabulous top gurnard. I did have to take the place home. It's takeable size. I would normally let that one go, but it wasn't hooked very well, so the best thing to do that was to dispatch it and take it home. And it's a nice pan size. So yeah, 4 different species, stunning looking top gurnard, one to take home, and it's a day on the water. You can't beat that. More fish next time. Cheers.